Hello everyone! Welcome to another part of Tanaka's parents' struggle for the TeruShouEnnoTana storyline, aka my excuse to do some more fluffy Tanaka-Daisho interactions. We are slowly getting to the end of this particular plot point, and just one more part, and then we will be back on the Daisho Stalker storyline. So I hope you are looking forward to that. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You're keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy. Are you sure about this? I mean, I know I said I'll support you whatever your decision will be, but still. I'm not, but I have to do this. I have to know if they'll at least tell me the truth. Still, isn't it weird they went just to you? If they really wanted to reconnect with the family, wouldn't they contact us both? Yeah, I thought about it too. Maybe they think I'll forgive them more easily since I was just a kid back then. Maybe. Be careful, okay? Don't trust everything they say. I won't, no worries. He hid the phone back into his pocket, forcing himself to release the tension settled in his jaw. Of course he wasn't sure about this. How could he? Despite everything Enoshita said, he couldn't imagine making peace with his parents. At least not without a proper explanation and apology. His conversation with Daisho played in his head too. The words reassuring him that it was okay to be mad and not forgive so easily, giving him the needed strength to open the door of the little ramen restaurant near their home and look around for the table the two chose. He hated that little tug around his heart when he spotted his mother wave at him, the resurfacing feelings hurting when they shouldn't anymore. It was frustrating. Why was he still so invested after everything? Ryu, you made it! Tanaka hummed, not concerned enough to answer properly or return his mother's enthusiasm. He threw his father a glare, suppressing the urge to grab his collar and emphatically explain to him to stay away from Suguru, and sat down opposite them. You wanted to talk, so let's talk. Why did you come back? His mother seemed taken aback for a split second, which should have felt much more satisfying than it did. Ryu, what's the rush? I thought we could catch up a bit before... I don't want to catch up, I want an explanation. And I don't want to hear any excuses. Just truth. Why did you leave us? Ryu, darling, that's difficult to explain. Tanaka gritted his teeth, clenching his fist on the table to somehow release the bubbling frustration without punching said table or someone else. Don't call me darling. And I have enough time. Talk. The two looked at each other almost helplessly before his father let out a deep sigh. We were in trouble back then, you know? Serious trouble. We were worried that if we didn't leave, we could put you in danger. So we rather left. To protect you. Tanaka paused. That wasn't what he expected to hear at all. He thought the answer would be along the lines of them not being ready to be parents after all, or some other bullshit like wanting to enjoy life since they were still quite young. But danger? He collected himself after a beat, reminding himself of Psycho's words to not trust everything they tell him, and frowned at them. Why didn't you tell us instead of just disappearing? You were just kids then. We thought you might not understand and make leaving more difficult. She reached over the table to cover his hand, her face twisting when Tanaka pulled away begrudgingly. So you were just cowards. You rather ran away than face us. Or at least Psycho. She wasn't a child that wouldn't understand, you know? Please, darling, try to understand now. It was all for your good. To protect you. Licking his tongue, Tanaka forced himself to stay put despite his inner urge to get up and shake the truth out of them. Instead, he waved over the waitress, ordering the most expensive ramen bowl on the menu. If he was about to listen to this, he could as well do so with a full stomach and without worries about the bill, because he sure as hell wouldn't be the one paying. Fine, let's say I believe you wanted to protect us. Why are you back now? Why didn't you contact us in those 15 years? Why now? Because we want to repair things with you. You have no idea how much pain it caused us to leave you alone, but we didn't have a choice. But we want to make everything up to you. I know it's going to be difficult, but if you give us a chance, we could... Okay, stop right there. I just said I'll hear you out. I'm not letting you back into my life just like that. He leaned over the table, pointing the chopsticks at the two. You're crying here about how much pain it caused you, but what about us, huh? Have you ever thought about that? How much pain you caused us? His mother flinched. Of course we did, but we couldn't go back. We wanted to so much, but it was too late. And now, we thought we should make amends. Amends, huh? That's how we want to call it? Please, try to understand. We had no choice back then, but now we do. And we want to make things right with you. Grumbling, Tanaka continued to slurp his ramen while his thoughts ran a mile a second. The pleading was starting to get on his nerves since he couldn't tell whether he could trust it or not. He didn't want to give in so easily. He knew he shouldn't. But a tiny part of him didn't stop trying to persuade him to give it a chance. That maybe, just maybe, the two were telling the truth and he could have parents again. Not that he needed them for anything at this point in his life, but still. What kind of problems were you in? We angered a few bad people. Don't talk to me like I'm 5. Ryu, it's not appropriate to talk about things like this in public. It brings bad luck. Tanaka chuckled humorlessly, wondering how much more bad luck he could possibly get. Though, to his surprise, he could see this happening since they managed to piss him off by their presence alone. He watched the two for a while and noticed the way his mother fidgeted in her seat while his father stayed still like some rock, only occasionally glancing around, but his gaze always came back to meet his eyes. He really didn't want to give them his answer right now, if only because he wanted to think about everything. Plus, he decided letting the two fidget a bit more wasn't a bad idea either. But most importantly, he wanted to know what his boyfriends and Psycho would say. It wasn't just his life that would be influenced after all. He frowned with the reminder of Daisho's uneasiness around his father and put the now empty bowl away from him. Anything else I should know about? Like how much of this was a lie? He actually felt bad when the woman's eyes glossed over, but still pulled away when she tried to catch his hand. I swear everything we told you is true. We love you, even though you think we don't. And we want to make things right. Alright, fine, enough. I'll think about it. But if I see you anywhere near my boyfriends, I won't bother thinking about anything. Is that clear? You won't let us get to know them? No. Not now, and not unless they want to. He narrowed his eyes at his father. And you stay away from Suguru, understood? Which one is Suguru? The one you sat next to when you barged into our house. You're making him uncomfortable. How is that? Yes, of course. Just give it a thought, okay? We won't bother your boyfriends, I promise. With a nod, Tanaka got up, throwing one last warning glare at his father before he headed to the door, leaving his parents with the bill. He had a lot to think about. The house was mostly silent when he arrived, and if he didn't know Daisho was home, he could easily think he was alone. He chased away the need to check on him and slumped on the couch, tapping his phone into his palm deep in thought. He just finished chatting with Sayako, recounting to her everything that was said and his own thoughts, after which she told him to go with his gut. How very helpful of you, sis. What his parents said bothered him more than he would like to admit. Not necessarily because he wasn't sure what was true, but because he had to think about whether to believe them or not. That in itself was a bad sign, right? But on the other hand, his resentment could be playing a role too. Sighing, he folded his head into his palms, for about 100th time wishing they never appeared. Soft footsteps made him raise his head. His mood instantly improved when he spotted Daisho standing by the couch. How did it go? Another deep sigh escaped Tanaka's mouth. I'm not sure. I don't know if I should believe them or not. I mean, anything is possible, but what do I know? I see. He glanced away, twitching his fingers as if in nerves, though Tanaka couldn't see the other usual telltale signs of anxiety in Daisho's posture and face. Why so fidgety then? Everything okay? Huh? Oh, yeah, it's fine. I was just wondering if the last time we talked, Soft smile curled Tanaka's lips. Do you want a hug? The blush spreading over Daisho's cheeks let him know he hit bullseye. And yet, there was something else in Daisho's eyes. Something Tanaka hoped he didn't have to see so often. I know I should be comforting you, but it feels really nice and... Sorry, please forget I asked, it's... He stammered when Tanaka grabbed his hand to stop him, both from leaving and from talking down on himself, but then no less than sagged into Tanaka's open arms. Tanaka pulled him closer while still careful not to overstep the invisible boundaries, but it seemed like Daisho really needed the hug that day. It was kinda surreal, but Tanaka wasn't one to complain about the things making his heart flutter. Especially that sad thing was a sign of positive progress. Hugging you is a great therapy too. Oh, I'm glad. Tanaka chuckled, nuzzling briefly into Daisho's hair. You should be. But you should also remember you don't have to be shy to ask for hugs, Neither of us will push you away. I know, it's been a while since I could choose, He knew, and it hurt to hear from Daisho's mouth. It was such a small thing, but he had no illusions that simply choosing when to be touched was something Daisho might have forgotten in the time he suffered with his ex. He instinctively caressed Daisho's arm to hopefully relieve some of the past memories, or at least reaffirm Daisho he had no reason to be afraid around him. How ironic was it that his parents' sudden reappearance was the final nail that lured Daisho into his arms? Are you going to meet them again? I don't know. They didn't tell me exactly what they supposedly got tangled into, so I can't look into it more. I kinda want to believe them though. Not that I'm going to let them back into my life, but I guess the kid in me wants to believe his parents really had some serious reason to leave. That's understandable. They betrayed you, but in the end, they are still your parents. And your mind is trying to find ways to make the pain more bearable. Surprised, Tanaka raised his eyebrow. Look at you giving therapy advice. Daisho curled more into a ball. I've sit through enough for some things to stuck. Oh, of course. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It's fine. I know it was a compliment. Either way, being cautious isn't a bad thing. And you don't have to accept them into your life immediately. If they really care about you, they should respect you wanting time. Yeah. What about your parents? Daisho paused, the now slightly confused green eyes looking up at him. My parents? To be fair, Tanaka also wasn't sure why he asked that in this moment in particular, but now that he did, he couldn't contain his curiosity. If it was just a mask for his frustration, no one but him knew. Yeah, it just occurred to me you never really talked about your family since you started living with us. We only know about your sister, and that's mostly thanks to Yuji. So, it got me wondering. But you don't have to answer if it hurts, I understand. No, it's not like that. He stayed silent for a while before his shoulders relaxed. I guess I just didn't see a reason to, since we don't talk much these days. I don't even know why. I suppose we are all busy with our stuff. He snuggled closer to Tanaka's side, settling a bit more comfortably. Kumiko's been most of my world since Mom died. She pretty much raised me, even though we had a nanny at the beginning. You know, to help us deal with everything. Tanaka froze, guilt for bringing this up hitting him square in the face despite Daisho not sounding as pained as he would expect with a topic like this. Maybe he's in a similar situation as me. Since it's been a while, the feelings dull with time. Still, he squeezed Daisho's hand in a hopeful attempt to apologize for hitting a potential injury. I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's alright. I made peace with the fact that she's gone. I still have some nice memories with her, so it doesn't hurt as much anymore. And Kumiko was with me. She's incredible, always was. To that, Tanaka smiled, both with the memories of Sayako doing the exact same thing for him when he was younger, and with gratitude that the gods gave Daisho at least one person to lean on whenever he needed. She sounds awesome for sure. What about your dad? He's a lawyer, one of the most expensive in Tokyo, so he was mostly busy. We weren't close before Mom died, but after that, he tried his best to get to know us and be with us whenever his schedule allowed him to. It wasn't often, but he always took us out, to eat or to the cinema or just walk around some shops. It was nice. He never forgot our birthdays either, and even went to see some of my matches. He sounded almost ecstatic, as if he was reliving the nice memories all over again in that brief moment. Tanaka led him, finding himself smiling too. Until it disappeared, along with Daisho's smile. It's thanks to him that he ended up in prison for so long. Dad, he was furious when I got into the hospital. Made a huge case from it and managed to get the judge on his side in just one court sitting. Damn, with a case like that? He must be great in what he's doing. He is. Sorry, I shouldn't boast about my family when... Tanaka silenced him with his hand laid against his cheek, leaving a kiss on his forehead. It's okay. I asked, remember? And I'm happy to hear you two have a good relationship. It actually helps me make up my mind about my parents. Daisho blinked a few times before the previously gathered tension released from his posture. Then, I'm glad I could help. Smiling, Tanaka kissed his cheek this time before taking a leap and pulling Daisho fully into his arms for a hug. To his immense joy, Daisho relaxed again, almost melting in his embrace while also chasing Tanaka's distraught thoughts away. And hopefully his own too. The events of the last few days could be considered a miracle for their relationship, for which he was indescribably grateful. It meant the two of them were on a good way to heal the cracks that formed in their relationship since its beginning, and there was a chance for a complete repair, something Tanaka would give anything to achieve. He just had to continue on the same path and hope, and perhaps one day he would become another safe space for his beloved. Unable to help himself, he kissed Daisho's forehead again, earning the cutest little whine ever. What do you say we bake some sweets tonight? Thinking always goes better with a dessert. He grinned when Daisho perked up at the word sweets. I would love that. But can we stay here for a bit longer? Just for a while. Please. Of course. Anything you want. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As I said at the beginning, we are slowly getting close to the end of this plot point, and I hope you are ready to dive back into the Daisho Stalker storyline again, and overall just focus on Daisho a bit more again. I'm thoroughly enjoying this plot point since, you know, it gives me the option to include my Tana show agenda without actually breaking the Polyship for it. And yes, I'm enjoying this very much, and I hope you are too. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time!